Hi, I'm Hans-Peter Meyer, and I'm here in the offices of Wedler Engineering talking to AndrewGower. Andrew, you were on the working groups with the sustainability strategy, is that right?
That's right, I was in the infrastructure working group.
Right, and that's what we're going to talk to you about today.
Yeah.
But first, just give me some background on yourself. How long have you been in the Valley?
I've been living here about 2.5 years. Our business has been open about 3 years in the Comox Valley.
So it was work that brought you here?
It was a lifestyle choice.
Yeah.
This is a place I wanted to live. And before I lived here, I lived and worked in a bunch of different places.
Yeah, you said that, yeah.
Yeah, I went to school back east. I was in the military. I went to Royal Military College. And then I started my professional military engineering career in Chilliwack. I lived in Edmonton and Suffield. After I got out of the Army, I moved to California. I worked there in major bridge construction. And then after that, I went to Ireland for about a year, did highways design. Then ended up back in Abbotsford and got a job with the Chilliwack office of Wedler.
So you worked in places that are roughly similar size to this before?
I've worked in places the same size. I've worked in communities that are bigger. I've worked in communities that are smaller. I grew up in Nelson, so I've got that experience with a smaller community with different sort of similar kind of lifestyle, maybe different kind of feel, different kind of vibe. So I think I bring a wide variety of experience to the table, not just professionally, but personally and culturally.
Okay, so we're going to launch into this 3x, 2x8 process, and thanks for playing along with it. It's the same 3 questions for everybody in this interview process. You've looked at the draft goals and objectives and the targets, apparently, for the infrastructure. So the first question is, what excites you about what you see there in the strategy?
I gotta be honest, nothing in the strategy really excited me. The front end verbiage around why we're doing this was really well done, I thought. So good job, HB Lanark. What really excited me about the process was the working groups and the fact that they invited such a broad range of the public to be involved, and the fact that so many people wanted to. So we have that grassroots involvement from all over the Comox Valley who wanted to be a part of this, and that's what I found really exciting.
So have you seen that in other processes you've worked in other communities?
Not really.
No?
No. When you do a public hearing in the development side, you usually end up with the same people who come out to say they don't want it. And I saw that one job in Maple Ridge where everyone came out to oppose my client's development. They hadn't contacted us for any details. They knew all the councillors by first name. The councillors knew them. It was the same people who just wanted to say no.
Right, but here you actually saw a really different kind of...
Definitely.
So,
yeah.
Good. The second question has to do with how do we implement this? Like, what do you see as the challenges for implementing this strategy?
And here's where I've got a different answer than everyone else. Since I spent some time looking at the actual targets, the way the targets are set, I don't find them very aggressive. So I don't think that the way this plan sits down, I don't think implementation is going to be a big problem.
Well, you even said that there are other jurisdictions not too far away that are like already meeting these targets.
Or exceeding them. And the one that's kind of near and dear to my heart is Goal 3.7, Objective 3.7.1. So this is buildings and sites are designed to manage stormwater in an ecologically friendly manner. And the target is the percent of new development that incorporates stormwater source controls. And what they're saying is by 2015 that we'll have 100% of low density development will have this, and by 2020 we'll have 100% of medium and high density residential and commercial. And the thing that really bugs me about this is, having worked in Chilliwack as of 2004 or even earlier, but I know as of 2004 for sure because they wrote a new bylaw, all new development had to have source.
So they're already there.
They're there.
They're already doing what we are setting, say we're going to do in 10, 11 years.
Yeah, well, we're going to be 16 years behind them.
Right.
And they don't have a sustainability strategy. They just did it. They said, we need to do this. This is the right way for so many different reasons. And I went through a lot of the targets, and it's the same thing. Great objective. It's the right objective, but the target's
too low.
Too low, and a lot of them, they're just going to happen because societal norms are changing. We know that. Technology improves all the time. Efficiencies get added, and a lot of them just, they'll just meet the standard evolution.
We need to get more aggressive. These targets are like no problem meeting the infrastructure targets.
Not really.
So that gets to the next question, the third question, which is how are you or your company going to work with local government or developers or the public to actually, in this case, get more aggressive and meet higher targets?
And we're already doing that, and we do that on as many projects as we can. And whenever I talk to a client, I say, hey, this is the bare minimum, but this is a much better standard.
How did your client respond to stuff like that?
It depends on the client. Some clients are all over it, especially where you can show that they get a marketing advantage and they get a cost effectiveness and operational advantage. And one prime example of that is the Holiday Inn Express here in Courtenay, which doesn't look very exciting when you look at it.
It's a big box.
It's a big box, right? But if you get into that project, our client spent quite a bit of time putting in more efficient fixtures because they were starting out as a client, owner-operator. So they didn't want to just build a big box that wouldn't be efficient to operate. So they put in high efficiency water fixtures, they put in as much LED lighting as made sense, they put in high efficiency air heat pumps in the rooms, and they used high efficiency laundry equipment. And the best part that we got to do was in the back of that is a really big concrete tank in the ground that collects all the rainwater off the roof. And in the summer months it stores it and then pumps it back into the irrigation system.
Wow.
And in the winter months you change a panel and it's your standard detention tank which releases it at a controlled rate.
Right.
And that's happening right here in the Comox Valley right now.
Well, you were talking about a case in Paul River, a project where...
Yeah. So here's a case where something I couldn't do right now in the Comox Valley without an awful lot of fighting and fussing and complaining is we went to our client there, who's a First Nation client, and they're not necessarily bound by the same requirements as municipalities. They said, you don't need any storm pipes for your development. Why don't we just use swales and good grading?
Right. Swales are kind of nice looking ditch in some ways.
It's a ditch with grass.
Right.
Basically, it's Roman era technology, but it works. It works
it's
a lot
quite
better.
attractive, actually.
It's attractive. It is proven to treat hydrocarbons and contaminants. It slows the flow. It returns water to the ground. It supports habitat. It's got so many advantages, and it's cheaper than traditional stormwater technology. It's just not as clean as or as efficient, or it's not what we're used to. But because they said, yeah, we want to save some money, we want to be more integrated, we went for it. So we built this whole development with one storm pipe to connect the foundation drain.
And you're saying that even in the Comox Valley with a sustainability strategy, that kind of thing would be really tough to get through?
It's tough to get through, and we saw an example with one of the new car dealerships up Ryan Road, where they did that, but they still had to pay a stormwater development cost charge, even though they didn't connect to the municipal stormwater system. And that just doesn't make sense. That's not going to encourage that kind of development.
Right. So that's where you guys can show leadership, is actually bring these examples to local government, to the developers, and actually surpass the kind of targets you're seeing here in this strategy.
And that's what we're going to keep doing.
Right. Okay, thank you. And so you've answered my 3 questions. We've got a couple minutes. What kind of a challenge would you like to put on the table for residents of the Comox Valley, the elected leaders of the Comox Valley, other businesses around sustainability and infrastructure?
My challenge is that we've got the right objectives in the sustainability strategy. The targets need to be more aggressive. And Tom said this in his interview, because I watched it. It's better to set... Yeah, I said it, or one of his notes on his Facebook site. Yes, Tom, I read it. He said, no, it's better to set a higher target and not meet it than a target that's so low, it's so easy to meet, you don't even have to try. Right. And if we spent all this time, and we've invested time and money in this document, why isn't it a document that's going to turn the Comox Valley into a leader? I mean, we've got a golden opportunity here. We've got a college. We've got a lot of professionals in the Comox Valley who moved here for lifestyle. And I don't know if anyone realizes it, a lot of our practice isn't in the Comox Valley. Yeah. Like I mentioned, we have a job with the Slam First Nation. I have 2 other major projects in Powell River. We bid on work in Campbell River. We do work in Port Hardy. We've got 3 projects under construction in Alberta. We're designing one in Winnipeg, Manitoba. We've worked on the west coast of the island. So we export our knowledge and we bring income to the Comox Valley. And if we've got this golden opportunity, which a lot of the private sector is trying to incubate and start to become a leader. Right. And this was a way for the public sector to get on board. And if it's not a leadership document, I think it's a criminal use of our resources to not have aggressive targets that show leadership, that the Comox Valley is going to take the step forward and lead the way.
Thank you. That's very good.
No problem.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Andrew.
Yeah.
This is just one in a series of interviews that we're doing about sustainability in the Comox Valley. Please check out the site at www.cv2050.com. Take those 3 questions and interview your neighbors, your family, your friends. Have some fun. And thanks a lot, Andrew.
Yeah, no problem. Good talking to you.